Everybody thinks owning a winery is all glamour and glitz and it's all fun and games. Let me tell you, as much fun as you think it is to own a winery, to party for a living, to have as much wine, beer, champagne, whatever you want available. I got 6 kegs on tap, I got 14 different wines, 2 champagnes, port. I live on the property, I wake up to hot air balloons and grass, and I work with my mom and my dad. As much fun as you possibly think that all could be. It's even better than what you can think. I was involved in the financial world. That's what I grew up in. That's what I know. I went to school for, and right out of college, Series 7, life insurance, the whole thing, what I thought my career path would be. And after 13 years of dabbling in that business in various capacities, I said, I need to do something different. I got to visit some of the wineries. And one of the small wineries, the owner's 75 years old, single, no kids, and he wants out, and he's willing to carry paper. So at the same time, my parents were getting beyond the need of the large house that 4 kids grew up in, and they were going to move to Santa Barbara. I called my pops, and I said, Dad, instead of moving up to Solvang area in Santa Barbara, what if we took the equity proceeds from the sale of the house, put it on the down payment SBA loan, and started a cash flow commercial property in wine country in Temecula and have a winery? He's like, wow, that sounds interesting. What does the rest of the family think? And called my brother, who's an ordained minister up in Sacramento. I said, Mick, what do you think about opening up a winery, bed and breakfast, resort day spa down in Temecula? He goes, Jesus' first miracle. We went down, we did our research, we fell in love with the idea. The more we fell in love with the idea, the more that gentleman fell in love with keeping his winery. After 5 months of negotiating with him, I looked right over at my dad, I'll never forget it. I said, he's never selling this place. He will die here. We need to realistically go plan B. Plan B was to buy an existing vineyard, small as we could, and build the property on it.
You know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to us. The good Lord works in mysterious ways, and like I said, I got a better plan for you over here, kid.
When we started this thing, we did what it took to really get it going. All our monies were poured back into the business, still are, but right now we're in the double wide, hopefully we'll be breaking ground for a house, maybe. We'll see, but it's all good. So I work in a trailer and I live in a trailer. People think, whoa, you guys are rolling in the dough. It's like, hey, it's about quality of life. It's not about the pocketbook.
The interesting thing that most people are too polite to ask, I think, is that, well, what qualified you guys to get into this business? And the true answer to that is zip. We didn't have any qualifications other than we drank wine. Were we wine connoisseurs? No. We just enjoyed wine, and that was about it. But we never ran a winery, so this is all new to us, and so the learning curve had to be pretty steep. Now, one thing this family does know how to do is market and sell it, and we didn't just build this and expect everybody to come here. We really exposed our champagne. That was our signature wine, not knowing it was just primarily for weddings, but it all of a sudden took off with the public.
I feed the staff every day a home-cooked meal, and I think some of the young people that work for us, that's the only home-cooked food they get. And I garden. I planted all the garden down below. The garden down below was a junkyard when we bought the first 20 acres. And there was no plumbing down there, so I was hauling 100-foot, 1-inch rubber hoses all around for the sprinklers and to water the flowers and stuff. We had nothing then, just all we had was the sprinklers that were on the grapes.
There basically is no off-season in the wine business. There's something always going on. In the winter, you're pruning, and now you're barreling down, you're changing all your barrels and rotating that. That's just constant, ever-evolving. Hands down, the wine that we're most famous for is the almond champagne. It outsells everything. It's totally unique, it's totally different, and it appeals to a vast array of customers. And the start to this wine was pure and simple. My wife wanted something different for Y2K. Just with a plain wrap label, boom, almond champagne, that's it, and we sold 10 cases in 4 hours. Our goal originally was 25 cases a week. That's, oh God, that's it, 5,000 cases. All of a sudden, bam, 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 you're selling that. And it's just like people driving and flocking to it, and it's just bizarre. Only ones out there producing it, and we're going great guns.
Working with the family is a lot of fun. It's better than I thought and harder than I thought. The reason is it's better because you're working with your family. I mean, these are people that you love, but it's harder than I thought because we have a lot of strong personalities.
But we're doing our level best, although we don't always agree with each other. In fact, I'd be scared to death if we all agreed with each other. We really make a conscious effort to make sure that everybody has the same goals in mind.
Family, as good as it is, it can also be quite contentious, and you can't fire family. They're going to show up at Thanksgiving. So you love them, and you work through them and around them and with them, and we're working it out.
Most families, you get together Christmas, Thanksgiving, some of the big, meals and vacations. When you work with your family 7 days a week, it's tough, but it's a blast. I wouldn't have it any other way.
We're all in this together, but there's certain, there's certain people that are out there in the front charging a little harder than others, and you need the others sitting in the back working their magic too. When you don't talk, communicate, that's when conflict happens, and conflict invariably happens when you're spending somebody else's money.
Family businesses are tough. You try to keep the family and the business separate, and too many times it just gets all wacky. And that's where we're having someone actually come alongside and coach us through that process on how to separate the family from the business. So you make business decisions and you make family decisions. What we're learning is the best thing for the business is usually what's also best for the family.
Once you've got spring and bud break, now you're making sure that all the vines are budded out. You're planting the ones that aren't, tidying up in the vineyards, but also from the winemaking, you're now filtering and rebarreling and doing all that. And you're also doing all those other little projects and construction-wise or improvement-wise.
I think I've got it made, I really do. We've got people coming through here, their grandpas and grandfathers. Their kids are scattered all over the country. And they said, "Do you know how lucky you are?" And I said, "Yep, I do." And it works out just perfectly.
What I've learned about wine is the more I know about it and the more I learn about it, the more I like about it. It's kind of like art. It's kind of like music. You know, everyone has different tastes in art, different tastes in music. What's the best music? It's what you like. But the more you know about that genre of music, the more you know about that artist, the more you appreciate that. Same with wine. Learning by osmosis from winemakers, from seminars, from classes, to knowing that you don't know and finding people around you that do know, that's been a lot of fun. I love wine because it, A, makes food taste really good. The food accents the wine accents the food.
The Italians regard it as a food. It's a necessity of life as far as they're concerned. Americans are just starting to get exposed to it. Our consumption of wine is way down compared to most European countries and Italians. They know how to live. And, but we're getting there.
We make a Bordeaux blend that we put a label as a tribute to my parents, and we call it the Wilson Family Legacy. And it's all the different characteristics and traits that my parents have tried to instill in us that they possess, handed down for generations, are the same characteristics that the grapes imply into the wine. That's one I love to give to people, to showcase away. That's one that I'm probably most proud of.
You know, you don't know that you mean that much to your kids, and then when you see it on a wine bottle, it's kind of impressive.
What sets us apart from everybody is that this winery has not been created by wealth that was either handed down or developed from another industry. We had barely enough to have my dad retire, and then that got swallowed up, and then we all quit our jobs, we all went to work for nothing. No income, no paycheck, no nothing until, you know, just survival mode.